Okay, there's Montana, there's Gray Horse, there's Flame. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. This will only be the second time I've really done her. This is a rescue horse, that's a rescue horse, that's a rescue horse. All these three horses were adopted. And when I started 7 years ago, started with her, and the lady I do them for had two other horses. One passed away, and the other one belonged to somebody else, so that horse was moved at one point. But anyway, so then she adopted these three, and so this one here, I've only kind of done her once, and we're going to look at her feet because I want you to see how the medial pillars naturally do not self-trim, because it's a part of their foot that they wear the least because of the way the foot turns. And so slowly and surely it can get long and dominant and distort the rest of the foot. Many different manifestations to this distortion. You know, plus that side will get high in the sole. You'll get some compacted sole and you'll wind up with the medial-lateral imbalance. But I want you to see how these pillars stick out on the inside of each foot. You see that? Okay. Now the wall gets stretched out and forward, and the sole stretches with it, and so people also don't recognize that part of the sole is also stretched out. And see, always what you'll have is you're going to have jamming in here. See, this is the pillar right here, sticking out right here. You'll have jamming in here, and it's never going to come down no matter how many times you relieve the quarters, because that pillar holds that whole foot in the position it's in. Also keep your toe from fully coming back. Yeah, the Achilles heel of hoof trimming. See them? Mm-hmm. And they get really thick, and then it all builds up, and it looks like live sole under there. And you don't know. You can't figure out, well, why can't I get this foot straightened out? You know? So this is a new discovery here this past year, coming to an understanding of this. And since I figured out, I've been seeing all kinds of, you know, even her feet, from the way I've been trimming out, have improved. Mm-hmm. You know? And stuff. So, yeah, she's a good example. What's her name?
This is Cayenne.
Cayenne. Yes. Good girl.
And we call her Kai.
Yeah. She's a lucky horse.
Mm-hmm.
All three of these are lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I was telling them how they're rescue horses.
Ah.
Adopted.
Yes, adopted.
Stuff. How we started with, well, I started with you know, I didn't use your name or nothing, but how we started, and you had Flame and the other two,
Ace.
Hank and
oh yeah, Hank. When you started with us, we had Flame, Hank, Whimsy, and Taya.
Yeah. No, Whimsy wasn't here.
I thought you guys did Whimsy.
Just Taya.
So Taya, but I thought we had one more. No, we just had the three.
Yeah. And Taya was the one that had toes as long as the foot
Yeah.
should be, and the farrier told you that was natural for those Arabs.
Yes, because she was the type of Arab she was.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a little bit of powder in the bottom of that because I feel
on the back here too. Dominant, high forward, high medial pillar on that foot. back there. Well, actually, on both of them. And that's why they flare out in the heel and round the side. I don't know if you can really see it. Side. I don't know if you can really see it. You'll get what's almost called a windswept hoof. Okay, do you see how that side comes out there? And the other side's very steep. Okay, so we're going to deal with that pillar today to try and release the hold it's got on that foot so that foot can correct itself in the heel there. See it? Steep on that side, flared on that. All right. Okay, so I want to explain something. This is for Michelle. She's got one upright foot and one kind of splayed out flat foot. And what happens is some farriers have a tradition of called stand 'em up, where they give it a real short toe and they try and leave heel. Now, here's the thing. Now look at this foot here, how straight across it is, right here. Okay. The heels are high right now. You can see by the hairline. She grows well in here. And if the horse, give it here, hun. Okay, if the horse is a horse that kind of retains sole or can retain sole, they'll retain sole from here back into here, and it'll look like live sole. And then if they get a dominant pillar and it gets really built up in here, this side can get a little higher over here. And so what happens is then the farrier runs into this shiny sole and he thinks he's at where he has to stop, when the heels could be like this long. Well, naturally on a horse, heels are not like that. What it is this whole area in here has retained sole, and they might get down to some sole. It's dark, hard, shiny. They think that's as far as they can go. But the truth is, it's what's called retained sole. Because when this, what looks like to be flaky, doesn't flake out, and then it gets compressed and pounded, it turns shiny and looks like live sole. And so people don't think they can go past that. It's only by knowing the true anatomy of the foot and the sole that you can tell live sole from dead sole. Now, I want you to look at how much her foot there looks flat, right? But it's not. Okay, you'll see the concavity come out in it as we progress here, and as I take down these heels. Now, she's not really retaining sole in these heels, but a horse can very easily. And then you wind up leaving them just like that high here, because the sole would be compacted in here and down. All right? Okay, so we find the true foot by finding the true sole. Because what happens is when the sole sticks to the wall, for one reason or another, it takes on the form of the wall, the distorted wall. Okay? So that's why we come in here and we start defining the sole. See, now, in some cases, like her, she's got, you can see, she's got a ridge here of separation. But in some cases, that sole will just adhere right to that wall and grow. And you'll have nice, what looks to be a tight white line right along here. So we come in here and we get right up against the wall and right in the white line, and we start, hold your knife like this, and you can use both hands, and we start just doing a groove to define the foot, and that includes right here in the toe. It's hard to do because your soles can be really hard, but you got to define that sole and find out where it is. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see the wall a lot of times is a different shape than the sole. Let's see. I kind of want to take out more of that. Now I know feet are not round or square, and sometimes the sole can stretch out to be square and round, like the okay, now see, that doesn't even look like I have a bar there, so I'm just going to come up about where I know the bar would be and just scribe into the sole here a little bit. And again, I like to take this piece of bar out, coming up into the wall right here. I'm going to come all the way around. Now see, she does have some retained sole, but also you can see in the very back here, there's dirt way down in there. Wouldn't be that way if that was where her true sole ended. See, I'm just disconnecting the bar all the way around right there. You know, this little piece that goes into the buttress right here. I only take the sole to the bar to the level of the sole. Now, as I do this, maybe you'll see the coffin bone appear in here. See, and here's what'll happen too. You'll hit a piece of shiny sole. You'll think that's as far as I can take my heel, but you take another couple nicks, and then you'll run into this exfoliatable stuff here. Grainy. See it? You're going to see how far. Now see, from here to here is where it will retain in kind of a wedge shape, so that it's raising your heels. Okay, I found some grainy stuff right there after I got through some compressed sole. All right, now see, I've got a lot more heel wall in here that I could take down. If I would have just gone to the first layer of shiny sole there, okay, and I know too, because of how high the heels are here in this little piece of buttress wall. Glad I don't do this for a living. You know, I don't trim that many horses. I couldn't trim that many horses. I'm not physically able, you know. Okay, so I'm just coming along this line here. Again, I want my bar. I'll take that bar down. Look there, I found the white line. Right there. Okay, woohoo. I'm not going to force it. Again, I want to take out that little bit above it here. Okay. Now, I want you to look at how these pillars naturally get long here. Okay. All right. Now, as you see, I still have some grainy stuff right here. Now we're starting to see how this whole back was retaining sole and high. And you might not do it all in one setting. Okay? See? Really getting that cleaned out. And we want to make sure we don't put her at a negative palmar angle, so we're going to deal with the toe as well. Now this is starting to shape up over here. I definitely don't want to leave the medial high, or it tends to get more compressed. There, we found the white line in her right there. Now sometimes the bar will be smooched over the sole. Takes a little bit of time. You'll learn to do it. I mean, it's not like you can just do everything at once. And if the horse has been like this a long time, they can be tender. Come on up here. Come on, girl. Now quit moving back. Okay, give me that foot. Now, I'm also just going to come up here and exfoliate this sole right here. Now see how it's yellow right here in the pillar? It's because the sole has kind of stretched forward with the pillar. And this sole here on this medial toe is high. So I want to come in here because I just know that this pillar has gotten high. Cripes. And it gets harder than a booger in the toe. Okay, this is what I got for now. But again, look at the square pillar. See, these tend. Now I'm getting pretty much the shape of the true foot here. But what I want you to see is how the sole and pillars can take on a life, or not the sole, but the pillars can take on a life of their own. See that? How square that is? They can come out square, they can be round, any shape but what the sole is. Alright, so what we're trying to do is get them to line up, come back, and retain the shape of the sole as it should be according to the shape of the internal foot, rather than pulling this sole out and distorting it. Okay? Walls are meant to support and retain this sole behind them. When they get stretched forward, they can pull the sole right with them. Oh, here. See that big pillar there and how that goes over and around like that? If we were to leave the sole up there, it would stretch this way. And it'll pull, this becomes a lever, it pulls the whole foot that way, including this side, which it compresses over this way and even pulls this heel that way. And you can wind up with windswept heels. Heels that this one goes this way and this one goes that way. Okay, so we're just going to nip off that big chunk of pillar there. And, oh, I knew you weren't going to let me keep your foot in my hand. Okay, I'm not letting go of it. Okay, no. I just want to take off this big chunk of pillar here. And it's hard and thick. You're going to see just how thick this pillar wall is. Oh, my little thing fell off. See that? A distorted, far forward, long, dominant medial pillar. And the horn tubules, which should be back here, are up here. These horn tubules here that run down the foot should be further back. And then it's fine once it's in its proper spot if it wants to get kind of wide and solid, because then it holds this foot in the shape it was meant to. Okay, so you can see, really don't want to take these walls down past the sole, so I'm nipping them kind of high, but also want to save myself a little rasping. I don't want the sole above the wall. Anyway. Okay, I can feel you moving, girlie. I'm gonna take this pillars off like this across the side. Okay, I want you to see again what that pillar looks like. Oh, God. You see that? Big and square and forward out that. And I mean, so is this one. But to a lesser degree, they tend to wear off more on the outside than the inside, just because the natural movement of the horse uses this part of the foot to roll over on a little more. Okay. I'm hoping I can get these videos done and quit this. But I'm only doing it because when I help people understand. So I'm just taking this soft square here a little. Hotel Little Pony. See how I kind of took that off square? Then we're going to take this one off square as well. All right. Now, see how I've taken the wall, made the wall fit the shape of the sole. Okay? Now, but I know the shape of the sole. I haven't just followed the shape of the sole where it was stretched forward here in the pillars with the distorted wall. Now it's starting to look more like a horse's foot. Okay. All right. Now, go ahead. Come here. Give it here. Go ahead. You gotta keep moving. On these heels, I want this heel to be down level with this heel. Right now, this buttress wall, which is this wall where here we go the bar, right here's the buttress wall, here we go the side of the foot. Want it same height as this little piece here. Okay? Now, hold still. Right there, I got it. See how I'm taking that back like that? ahead and just kind of roll the outside edge of this toe wall right here. But it's this pillar I want to get. Up into that wall that wants to get thick. I don't want it growing to the ground first and becoming a lever again. Okay, and I will just knock off the rim of this. Ho ho, ho ho, ho ho. Now I do this from the top because I want it straight. I don't want to bevel like this. I want there to be some wall here, which kind of took that one down a little too much. But I want these pillar walls in to where they will correct themselves and come back. See, and I'm going to thin it out just a hair of the top so it doesn't grow out and it become a lever again. This foot more now. You see how dominant that pillar has become, and the wall will be even thicker than the rest of the wall because that's the effect it has. It's the foot's reaction to trying to prevent the pillar from becoming even more dominant and distorting the rest of the foot. Now, if we look over here where I've taken this pillar down, I'm a little shaky, you can see the wall, the whole wall is very thick in here and comes out like that. So we need to thin that down so that between now, not much, we don't want it, we also don't want it to thin it down so much that we hit thin wall and then like a ferry would rasp down the foot to make it look, but that weakens the wall here. That'll just push it out more. So we're just going to take it back here. We're not going to worry about it being real pretty and stuff. We're not going to dress down the foot, but we're going to take it back so it doesn't become dominant, so that this wall coming in right here can continue to go straight down. See how it's flared out like that. See, and very thick right in here, and she is that's due to this dominant pillar. Okay, and barefoot trimming, we've got a lot more dominant pillars because we've been rocking these toes back square in the natural balance style, which, you know, that's to get the breakover back here. Well, a horse's foot breaks over all the way around this round circumference. So you can't have a short toe here and then square or wide pillars. How's that horse going to break and turn either way? You know, every time they become levers on the hoof capsule, and also lead in many cases to chronic lameness issues, especially when people aren't getting the heels out. See? You see how we've come down on those heels some? But she's got a good foot. She's still got wall from here to here. We're not trimming her out of her heels. So you can do that too. The toe, you never take it down, you never correct it, you never take out any sole. From here to here exfoliates all the time, so you're always exfoliating it. And, okay. This exfoliates, this don't a lot of times. So you're always exfoliating this and taking heels down, down, down. Well, you trim them right out of their foot. Trim the heel buttress wall right out. Set the bulbs on the ground. That's what happens there. You got to learn how to deal, because once you start this barefoot trimming, you're bringing this toe back, you will start getting some sole ridge. Then you got to learn how to deal with that sole and maintain it to its natural shape, you know, because it can really get out of hand. After I did all that, I went ahead and scribed out the white line again. And I want you to see what I found in there. And this is all from pressure and tearing in the pillar. See the red in the toe and the white line? Okay, that's from this wall, this pillar wall, stretching. What happens is blood leaches down into the white line because it's very porous. See? So I came in here, I went ahead and scribed back this back. See, when I say back, I mean back. When I say down, I mean down. I'm not taking the soil down here. I did a little. What I'm doing is I'm scribing out the white line here. See? Yeah, see that stretching in this toe all the way around. See that? So I want to take this down just a tad. She might be tender for a couple days till this wall kind of shrinks back and retains this soil and kind of grows out. But it has to be corrected, okay? If you want the foot to be right. We're going to come over here and just scribe a little out of the white line. Quit, for God's sake. She's getting impatient. Okay, see there? Now I'm going to just kind of bring this toe wall back here a little bit. Okay, now, what I want to show you here, I've drawn a grid line. Okay, ideally, you have your intertubular horn rings or growth rings that go around this way, and they're vertical, or no, they're horizontal, and then you have your vertical horn tubules go down like this. Hope you can see that. And I want you to see how you can't have these right here growing forward and sticking up here in front of this toe wall right here. Which is what they're doing now. Okay, now look at the growth line here. Okay, now see where I've trimmed the foot? This piece of hoof right here actually is out to here. Right here. And big bulge right here in this side, and you can see how it goes up like this. Jams up this area here, and it'll jam up the whole side in here. So, ideally what we want uniformity, and we want these to come back and shorten up and be into their proper location. And that will also bring this toe in here. Thicken out the sole and the sole ridge in the toe, give you what looks to be like more concavity, which is all really crescentric, convex sole ridge, convex underside of the coffin bone going in towards the frog. So we think it's all one shape because most of the time we got the wall rasped down, we don't see the sole ridge, or the wall is stretched forward, or the sole rasped down. We don't see flat with this wall, we don't see that it is actually convex. Okay, so that's probably all I'm going to do now. Would it be good is if you had an owner, they could come in here and just keep taking these little pillars down as this foot grew out. Now, I don't know if you can see that it's grown out pretty good to here. Okay, this whole bulge needs to come out, and this pillar needs to come back here where it's supposed to be to support the foot correctly. Okay, so let's look at these 2 feet. Okay, see how square that one is? We can make it look round, but feet are not round. Okay, the internal foot is not round. Give it here. She kind of got wind puffs a little. Get it. Oh, we have a stone. Okay, I want you to look at the shape of the foot. Okay, I came in again, took out some more sole in the pillars, brought it back. Okay. All right. And leave her with a bit of a groove there. And she's walking. I'll show you how she's walking on it. Absolutely awesome. Breaking over right in the center of the toe. But unfortunately, my battery's out. I'm using a cable. Maybe it'll be charged up a bit by the time I'm totally finished with this. Again, when I say take back the pillars, I mean take it back. Bevel like this. Say. Back. Okay, not necessarily always down, but you got to take some down too. All right. Let's look at that. Yep, look more like a horse's foot than some big square clod hopping thing. So I marked these pillars again to show you on this other foot. You see that? How those grow out there like that, become dominant. I haven't taken any pictures of this, but if I can look at it, I imagine it goes up there in the hairline on each side of the foot. Here and here. Shouldn't be like that. Okay. Now, on this foot, she has nice growth from here down. Look at the difference in the quality of hoof wall. Very tight. Look at the cracks down here, because more the hoof wall is spread out, well, it stretches. And then it develops hairline cracks. It's not dryness of the hoof. It's stretched out, bulging hoof wall that has grown out. Too long and stretched out in here. So you can see it goes like that. Really shouldn't do that. It should be kind of a nice angle, but it shouldn't go bloop like that. And really, really thick in this pillar here. Okay. Probably get home, look at these and go, oh, I should have done this and should have done that. Should have done the other thing. So this is a correction to get that hoof capsule to grow down, tightly connected, perfectly fitted to the internal foot. So the more you know and see the shape of the, even if you didn't know which part was which, the names, the more you see that internal foot in your head and the shape, like, you got to be like an artist. You should draw it. You should find pictures of them and draw them. That'd help you. And then draw hoof capsules on them. That's what I do. Then you start to associate the two and see the external, where it's fitting and not fitting to the internal, and what you can take off to relieve leverages and forces and torques to get that hoof wall to grow down. The lamina connected to the internal foot with no bulging, no flaring, no deviation. And then that horse has the best chance of being sound, and the movement will be something you've never seen before, guaranteed. Okay, because, now think about it. The horse breaks over. Okay, let's say we got a round internal foot in here. Okay? Now this wall should be connected around the foot. Okay? Let's say it's connected maybe good right here in the toe and back. But then you've got these sides that come out. Boom, boom. how's that going to affect that horse turning? Especially in the back feet. You know, a lot of horses get so they don't want to take a lead one way or the other. See? And you just start getting a terrible imbalance. Okay, yeah, that foot has to be able to roll like that with no leverage or torquing forces here when they go that way, pulling this foot away from this side of the internal foot. It's like pulling your fingernail out in a way. Can't be comfortable. Has to be why some horses are neglecting to turn certain directions. It hurts their feet. It's like having their fingernail pulled off. Torque on that. Well, what do you think that does? What do you think that big lever, square lever out there does? Every time that horse tries to turn this direction over here, huh? You know? Or even, you know, going forward, it's still pulling on that corner there. Big lever. But see, you can trim and disguise all this to look nice and roundish. You think you have a good foot when you don't. You got two big levers on the side. Because the sole stretches forth, can have a nice tight looking white line, but all this distortion in between and the sides of the pillars of the corners of the toes. Okay. Okay, I had to show you this because I'm doing another foot. Give it here. How, and I'm scribing it out like I showed you. I want to show you how this pillar, I'm hoping you can see it, grows forward, the sole into the wall tight. See there? Big wide over here. Alright, then you get, so you're trying to grow this side forward to match it, and I mean it just turns into a mess. So you gotta see where this internal foot is. So now you get your knife like this. This sole is real hard right here in the toe. I had to get up and just do little teeny bits on it, like so, to get this scribed out. See, now once you get in there, you start seeing blood from torque on this whole toe, this whole hoof wall. I'm right up against the wall. I'm taking all the sole out of this piece of wall right here. Okay? Now I know that you don't have no big bulge going over that way in that foot. So I'm going to, even though I've come up here in the wall, I'm going to just kind of shape this sole a little bit, bring it back in here. Woohoo. Okay, see how I brought the sole back, not so much down as back, because this wall is pulling it out that way. Okay, see the red from the stretching and the torque and stuff? So you shouldn't have that. There's our more the shape of our sole. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna lop off that chunk, pillar. You know, you can't make it perfect. You don't want to totally rasp down those pillars because the weight of the horse from the inside on a thin, as you get into the wall, it's softer. You know, you just have to keep them back in the pillar wall back so that that wall coming down up top can grow straight down. You can't take away all the support, but you can't leave a big chunk sticking out there either. You want that whole area to come back and form fit to the sides of the internal foot. Pillar. determines the breakover. See where she's been breaking over on the side of her foot here? In this pillar? If your horse is breaking over here, you got a long pillar over here. Maybe not to this extreme, but you do. Okay. So, you know, this is correction, right? The main part of the foot is not where it should be, and it's solidified out there. So we're trying to correct it. Will the horse be sore, tender, able to run like the wind down your gravel road? I seriously doubt it. I'm trying not to use expletives because I'm really sick of people, you know, that don't understand. Now this lady here, she's very understanding, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna take off this pillar, try to. I mean, they're all stretched out. What am I supposed to freaking do here? Okay, now, a lot of times you wind up with a real big sole ridge right here because this is not all not right. You want to rescribe your toe out some right here. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, yeah, that was stretched forward. Again, I'm coming into this pillar a little more. See that deep yellow? I don't want a big lump of sole holding everything forward, so I'm going to take this down a hair. Okay, I'm going to try and show you this. Now, because she's been breaking over here, as the sole grows, that's where it's been getting all the weight, and that's been compressing along this whole side here. So you can see it right in here. When you get into it here, it's a little more yellow. When you sight down into the sole should be uniform around it. And as you see, that side, it bulges up. You see that? So I'm going to have to take some of that down to make the sole uniform. Will the horse be sore? I don't know. Hope not. Might offer it some relief, but the sole also needs to harden up after you cut into it, you know, and take stuff off. So we're going to take this lump out. Do you see it? Over there in the toe? Okay. Okay. So big chunk of sole that should not be there. It should be taken down. And it is hard. Scribe out the wall a little more. Come in here. So I want my sole uniform across the toe. Alright, let's look at it. It's a little bitter. I'm going to feel this whole side right here is high. So, in the toe, Yeah, hard. I can imagine that stuff building up.